in this building. Some of y'all might know a little bit about that. It was not for a celebration like today. I was here to testify before what I can only describe to you as, and I hope they listening, a clown show. Yes. And as clown shows go, it was led by a clown. See, they gotta keep my name in their mouth for people to even know who they are. See, these want-to-be leaders, they want to show you that they are powerful and strong by coming after me. Let me tell you what they ended up showing in December. That they're stupid, that they're weak. And if y'all don't mind me saying so, they got a classic ass kicking while they got drugged for 3 hours.
Fani Willis got millions of dollars from Joe Biden. Big shock.
Fani Willis coordinated with the White House, the Department of Justice, and the Jan 6 committee in her attempt to commit lawfare against President Trump. After fighting open records requests like her office often does,
Fani Willis is down really, really bad. Remember the $17 million legal bill we talked about many times on this channel, the one that could wipe out Fani Willis' entire office budget? Well, she went to court on Monday and tried to stop it. And the judge told her, you're not even allowed to be in this conversation. You were disqualified. Go sit down.
The district attorney Fani Willis was told that she cannot intervene in the latest chapter involving her now dismissed indictment of President Donald Trump. Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee announcing that decision. The president and some of his co-defendants are asking for more than $16 million in legal fees because of the dismissal of the indictment. This is possible due to a law Governor Kemp signed last year. Willis has previously said that her office does not have that kind of money.
And now we have documents, thousands of pages showing exactly how deep the Biden White House connection goes. So there's a lot of issues going on with Fani Willis. Not a big surprise, but let's get into it. So what happened? Judge Scott McAfee, the same judge who has been on this case from the jump, ruled Monday that Fani Willis and her entire office are blocked from even participating in the legal fight over the attorney-free reimbursements. She filed a motion to intervene. Basically, she was saying, this money is coming out of my budget and I should have a say in this. And the judge said no, because you were, in his words, wholly disqualified from this case. You don't get kicked off for improper conduct and then show back up when the bill comes due trying to negotiate.
So she made a motion to intervene. Fulton County itself, as opposed to Fani Willis through the Fulton County DA's office, also made a motion to intervene. And now Judge McAfee has issued his order. I was really surprised by this order because I genuinely thought that he was going to allow her in based on what the statute said about the fact that it would be her budget. However, he's got some very interesting ruling, and he says at the bottom, after considering the record, the court denies FCDA's motion, meaning the Fulton County District Attorney's Office motion, and grants the motion of Fulton County. So he's saying, Fani Willis, in your office, you're not coming in, but the Fulton County itself is allowed in to fight against these attorneys' fees.
So if you watch my last video on this subject, you already know the numbers. Trump is seeking a lot of money, $6.2 million. And obviously it's not just Trump. 14 other co-defendants are collectively seeking a lot of damn money under the Georgia law, Senate Bill 224, that says if a prosecutor gets disqualified for misconduct and the case gets thrown out, the defendants can get their legal fees back out of the prosecutor's office budget. Fani Willis' own filings, with her own words, said this can consume a significant percentage, perhaps all of her annual operating budget. Remember, she told the Georgia Senate that she thought her budget was around $40 million. So we're talking about almost half of it potentially gone. And her office already filed a notice of appeal on this ruling, so this fight is not exactly over. But right now, she is effectively locked out. So this is the part that's really interesting. She tried to frame this as defendants' expenses as outrageous, pointing out hotel rooms that cost $1,000 a night and seafood lunches and luxury meals, calling this an absurd amount for an absurd reason. But still, think about it. No one forced her to bring up this case. No one forced her to hire her boyfriend to run it. No one forced her to take vacations with a man that she was paying over $650,000 in taxpayer money. She did all that, and now she wants sympathy because the consequences showed up.
We do have rogue prosecutors out there that do terrible things, and now we have yet another way to hold their feet to the fire. This doesn't just apply to President Trump and his defendants. It's going to apply to a lot of other people in Georgia who might be poor, people with not a lot of resources, who, mortgage their house or use their entire life savings to defend against a case that was really based on some wrongdoing by a prosecutor.
And real quick, I just checked my YouTube analytics on this channel and I see that 88% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed. 88%. That means you're watching the videos and you're enjoying them, but you haven't hit that button yet. If you enjoy this type of content and want to stay on top of these stories as they develop, because obviously the Fani Willis situation is far from over, hit subscribe right now. It's free. It takes 1 second. And it keeps the channel continue to grow and grow. You definitely want to stay locked on this because what we're about to talk about now with this Biden situation, this thing gets a whole lot deeper.
Fani Willis got millions of dollars from Joe Biden. Big shock. We wonder where it's stored, maybe under her mattress, or maybe she spent it on more cruises with her lover and Grey Goose.
The District Attorney Fani Willis coordinated with the White House, the Department of Justice, and the Jan 6 committee in her attempt to commit lawfare against President Trump.
So let's talk about this situation with the former president, Joe Biden. I mean, there's a lot of documents out there. This is not opinion. This is what this actually looks like. So through open records requests and a lawsuit by Just the News and American First Legal, thousands of pages of documents got released from Willis's office. She tried to hide them, claimed there was privilege, and fought it in court. But then just a few weeks ago, she dropped all the privilege claims and released everything without any redactions, which tells you something right there. If there's nothing to hide, why would she fight so hard to keep them sealed? What the documents show is between 2021 and 2024, the Biden administration of justice sent over $18 million to Willis's office through the Office of Justice programs. Now, some of that is standard. DA offices around the country get federal grants. But here's where it gets interesting. One grant in particular, $2 million through the Community-Based Violence Intervention and Prevention Initiative, was supposed to be competitive. Multiple offices applied, and the best proposal wins. But according to an independent correspondence, the DOJ invited Fani Willis to apply for it as a sole source grant, non-competitive. The money was basically earmarked for her. Fani Willis herself wrote to a DOJ senior advisor in December 2022, acknowledging that this was a grant in which you invited us to apply. In December 2022, right in the middle of building that RICO case against Trump. And this is not just about the money. Remember Nathan Wade, the man she hired despite the fact that he never prosecuted a felony, never worked on a RICO case, and had to take classes after getting a job? We've covered all that in the past, but his own billing records show that he had a conference with the White House Counsel on May 23rd, 2022, and an interview with DC House on November 18th, 2022. That November 18th date, very special. Same day, Attorney General Garland appointed Jack Smith as the federal special counsel. When the House Judiciary Committee dragged Wade in for testimony last year, he said, "I don't recall," 58 times. A man who billed 8 hours at $250 an hour for these meetings suddenly cannot remember a single detail about who he met or what was discussed. And we already saw what Fani Willis looked like under questioning at the Georgia Senate hearing, calling questions ignorant, not knowing about her own budget, not knowing how invoices were approved. The documents show that Willis's team coordinated with the House January 6th committee. According to Politico, January 6th committee attorneys let Fani Willis's team review evidence and help them prepare for witness interviews. So you have the White House, the DOJ, the January 6th committee, and a county DA's office all moving in the same direction on the same target at the same time. And here's one more thing. The Justice Department itself found inconsistencies in how Willis reported her use of the federal grant funds. A whistleblower in her own office warned that grant money was being used for swag, computers, and travel instead of the community programs it was designated for. That whistleblower was fired. Now, let me ask you a question. Does this look like a kickback to you? Does this look like that the DOJ from the Biden administration paid her to prosecute Trump? You can come up with your own conclusion. What I am going to say is that the timing, the sole source grant, the 18 million, the White House meetings, the 58 I don't recalls, and the fired whistleblower, those receipts tell me that there's something happening here. But now let's bring it back to the people who actually have to deal with this, the taxpayers of Fulton County. Judge McAfee did allow Fulton County government, not Willis's office, but the county itself, to intervene in the fee dispute, because they know that if nearly $17 million get rewarded, the taxpayers are going to be holding the bag. That money should be going to schools, infrastructure, public safety, things that actually matter to people who live there. But unfortunately for this county, they have a Fani Willis problem with a really bad pattern. Think about it, the YSL RICO case that had 0 murder convictions, prosecutors needing remedial training mid-trial, the Robbie Lewis plea deal, a violent kidnapper getting 10 years when they had DNA, and now this, a case that was supposed to be her legacy case, that collapsed because she couldn't keep her personal and professional life separate. And unfortunately, regular people are going to have to pay the price every single time. She stood at the Georgia State Capitol on Monday, International Women's Day, giving a whole speech about how they wanted her to look the other way. And her crime is having the audacity to hold people accountable.
See, the last time I was in this building, some of y'all might know a little bit about that. It was not for a celebration like today. I was here to testify before what I can only describe to you as, and I hope they listening, a clown show. Yes. And as clown shows go, it was led by a clown. I understand the same clown that led my questioning was just gifted bunny ears. Some of y'all know the significance of that, some of y'all don't. But he was gifted these bunny ears by Representative Ruwa Romanian. She was responding to a hateful, racist video that he had recently posted. She told him she gave him the bunny ears because she understood he was into that type of thing. Word on the street is, allegedly, he got some strange furry habits. The Senate hearing was a great waste of taxpayers' money and time. The Senate hearing was not about getting answers for Georgians as they lied and told people, but rather it was a desperate attempt to get their own name in the paper. See, they gotta keep my name in their mouth for people to even know who they are. See, these want-to-be leaders, they have no ideas for Georgians, no plans to make Georgians' lives better. They want to show you that they are powerful and strong by coming after me. Let me tell you what they ended up showing in December. That they're stupid. That they're weak. And if y'all don't mind me saying so, they got a classic ass kicking while they got drugged for 3 hours.
The same energy as the Senate hearing. Always the victim, never accountable. But the judge just told her that doesn't even make an argument anymore. She cannot advocate for her own budget. She can't argue against the fee amounts. She built this bomb and now she can't even help to defuse it. One consistent thing I noticed on this channel, no matter where we go, whether it's Fulton County, Dalton, Minnesota, Baltimore, Maine, it's always the same thing. Officials make decisions that serve themselves and the regular people absorb the costs. Elections don't override ethics. And votes don't replace rules, and titles don't replace accountability. We'll see what happens with this situation. It looks like Fulton County is going to have to pay that money. She got disqualified. The cases are thrown out. There's nothing more that she can do about this. Now they have to figure out how can they budget this huge cost that's going to be based on the taxpayer. But let me know what you guys think about this story in the comments below. Thank you for taking time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.